playing as Supergirl.
This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action.
This is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Birthright.
And you're listening to the Krypton Report.
And you're listening to Krypton Report.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's the Krypton Report!
The All Things Kryptonian podcast, including Superman and Supergirl.
We discuss games, movies, cartoons, TV shows, and comics.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. If you've enjoyed Krypton Report, please check out the other podcasts available from Southgate Media Group. From Capes and Lunatics, which is everything you could possibly want from a geek podcast, to Nuff Said, Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks, Titans Talk. If you're like me, you can't get enough of your DC. And you can also check out Super Connectivity, where they discuss everything in comics. Also, they do discuss Marvel. That's something you don't hear much from me. So, check it out, southgatemediagroup.com.
Look in the sky. Superman is coming. It's so awesome.
Welcome to the Krypton Report. It is me, Tyler, and it is James, and it's very late, and we are tired, and it's Valentine's Day. And you know what that means?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
It's 2/14.
Yeah, and you know what? That means something else to you and me, doesn't it, James?
Yeah. Happy 2/14.
Happy 2/14. Why don't you go ahead and for the kids at home, you explain that, James. They might not understand that.
Happy 2/14 is a picture that Zack Snyder released today because the length of his Justice League movie is supposed to be 214 minutes long. And he released a new pic today of what looks like multiple flashes. So obviously he's moving really, really fast, saving a bunch of people. And it's probably the Star Labs technicians and stuff who Steppenwolf and Parademons had kidnapped. But it's mostly in color. It's kind of like the bluish that it looks like when he kind of goes into the Speed Force when he starts to move real fast.
Yeah.
But it's in color, and looks like the special effects for the most part are pretty much done. It's kind of awesome.
I just want to know, like, I don't know. There's so much to be said for what is or isn't the Snyder Cut, blah, blah, blah. You know, no matter what, even if it's a rough cut, there is some sort of work print, put together cut of all the footage that he made. You know, so whatever. All I know is it just blows my mind how that movie, like it's like the great white whale of our generation. Like it's, you know, like it should have been like the greatest DC movie ever. And I can't watch it without thinking of what could have been. And it's not because I watch it of, oh, I would have done this or they did this. It's because there's so much stuff that we know exists and have seen that wasn't in that film. But we digress. We could be here forever.
Yeah, we've said it a number of times about how it's different from a lot of other films because, you know, there's a lot that it should have been, that it was going to be, that was filmed and effects and edited and everything, and then they just cut it and changed it. So it's a different story than a lot of movies and a lot of movies that people have, you know, expectations for. So, you know, expectations kind of leave most people
disappointed.
Most people disappointed, yeah. Everybody expects something from a certain movie, and it's like, you know, you had no hand in it, so I don't know what you were expecting. But
like I told you before,
you know,
Zack Snyder teases me more than an ex-girlfriend. You know, I'm like, come on, Zack. So here's another interesting tidbit for you. So I was curious about something, and I was digging through some old files, and sadly, I can only kind of guess right now, but this month represents 5 years from the first Krypton Report / Last Daughter episode I ever made.
Oh, really?
It is. Like, I was thinking about that today as I was reading the Pod Life book and just people talking about their podcast and when they started. And I was like, man, when did it? And So I went back through all my stuff, and my first episode that I can find. The sad part is I cannot find the original first episode of the Krypton Report. I think the file might be lost to time because I had a computer crash and a hard drive. But I found episodes 2 and 3, and they were both recorded in February of 15. So I can only speculate that episode 1 was recorded in February of 15. And then our Facebook page officially launched in May of 15. So, very interesting. 5 years of doing this. It's pretty.
Heck yeah, man!
It's pretty intense. Like, I'm writing my chapter for the Pod Life book, Volume 2, and I was just kind of going over stuff, and it was just something that I was thinking about, and there's a lot of evolution to this podcast. For people that know, like, it started out as being called The Last Daughter of Krypton. And it just kind of evolved, and from the hosts, the structure, to equipment used to record the podcast. So it just, I don't know, it's something near and dear to me, and here we are, and it's really
happy
cool.
anniversary, Tyler.
Yeah, for real. Like, I'm like, man, it's cool. It's so. But I digress. I'm stuttering. I just been a very kind of reflecting day as I was writing, and I started off the podcast when I started doing originally. It was just me with my computer. I didn't have any mics, and then I bought a mic, and then just kind of kept working at it, and bought better mics, learned how to do more editing, started trying to master this thing that we call Skype. And like I said, here we are now. But anyways, here's some other cool stuff to go over. One, besides the first daughter of this podcast, or the first episode of this podcast being lost, we have some cool news to go over. And I thought there was something else I was going to tell you. Man, I don't know. Maybe there was. But anyways.
Okay.
I remember. It's something small. I saw people were online were petitioning to have Amber Heard removed as Mira and replaced with Emilia Clarke. And you know what? I actually kind of liked it and chuckled at it because I think Emilia Clarke's a better actress, and she already has great chemistry with Momoa. But I just thought it was kind of funny and pretty cool at the same time. So I just thought I'd mention it. Whatever. Just, it's life.
Yeah. I mean, I don't deny that she's not a better actress. I mean, domestic violence is nothing to brush aside or anything like that. You hear the he did this, she did this back and forth. The truth is somewhere in between, and the truth being like, maybe they're both not the best people. Maybe they're both, toxic individuals, which, tends to happen with a lot of these famous and artistic types. So, sometimes, you have to separate a person's body of work, their artistic product from the individual, especially stuff they did prior to the news that had come out. So everything that's after tends to be tainted with that information. But I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, if you really wanted to petition everybody from being a character like they could dig up dirt on the majority of people, and most of these famous people that everybody basically worships would be out of a job.
This is why I like you, James.
So, I mean, I enjoyed her as Mira in Justice League and in Aquaman. She was serviceable as the character, and they made the character a strong character. She wasn't a damsel in distress type character, and I mean, I am okay with recasting. They've done that before in different movies. It's not my favorite thing, but if they did, they did. If they don't, they don't, and I'll roll with it.
Yeah, it's pretty much what we do. All right, moving on. So, I had this epiphany when I was doing some reading of a character they should bring on to Supergirl. I think I don't know. I'm like this huge advocate of having magic added, but I think Director Bones would be pretty intense to bring on to Supergirl for the DEO, and have have a division of the DEO that starts dealing just in magic.
Right. I've been expecting Bones on Supergirl for 5 years. So, I mean, for him to show up at some point or another,
wouldn't it just be really awesome?
Yeah, because for the most part, he would look like a normal guy. It's not until, what is it, the darkness or the moonlight that shows his skeletal form or whatever. Mm-hmm. Because I know I've seen him in comics and out in the daylight, he's normal, but in his office or something, he's Bones. So literally a skeletal being. So it's not like they would have to do that quite often. They could have a person. The special effects budget on it wouldn't be outrageous, because they wouldn't have to show him as a skeleton in every episode.
So it would be very interesting. But I just thought of that. Sayla, what you doing, baby girl? You picking movies? So I'm hanging out with my Valentine's date, Miss Sayla Rose. And she's awesome. So
that's awesome.
But what else news did we get? Oh, yeah. So we'll kind of do this first, because I don't want to spend a lot of time, but we got our first look at Robert Pattinson's Batman in his suit. What did you think?
Yes, we did. The best part of the video, I think, was the music. I think that's a serviceable Giacchino score.
It sounds great. It's definitely just seems like something he put together.
Right. I'm sure it's not finished, but if it's something to build from, that would be really cool.
What sucks is Giacchino is who I've been championing to be you should do the Batman or the Superman. You should do the music for the next Superman. And he's doing Batman. So, I mean, I guess I kind of got, I halfway got there. It's
in the ballpark.
Well, I mean, okay, because he's like the new John Williams, okay? The man did the music for Jurassic World, and then he did the music for Star Wars Rogue One.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So he's played in John Williams' ballpark.
Right. For sure.
So it's not out of his realm to be you know what, Tyler? You're right. I should do Superman.
Specifically at you.
I mean, why would he not?
Right. I see no reason why not. So the suit, it's very Arkham, very Arkham Knight, where it's segmented and overlapping armor plates.
It does look.
We'll see how that.
It reminds me of the Arkham, but it also reminds me of Injustice, the first one.
Yeah.
Like with a little bit.
Yeah, with the original trailer where everybody came out and their suits just like formed armor and stuff all around them.
So that's what it reminds me of an Arkham, and it reminds me a little bit. I mean, we're just talking about a shot that shows barely a cow and a chest, but it reminds me a little bit of Arkham, and it reminds me of, like I said, that.
Yeah. So, first impressions, like you see the armor. It looks like the armor plates on his chest. The symbol looks very metallic. There's a lot of speculation. Apparently everybody's reporting that's what it is, but it's all just speculation because what it kind of looks like. It does kind of look like two sides of a gun, like split in half. So quite possibly taking the idea that Batman used the gun that killed his parents to make his symbol or his chest plate. So, I mean, that's a pretty cool story plot point, especially from Detective 1000.
Yeah, I mean,
but he kind of
he melted it down and made it as a way of protecting.
Yeah, he put it underneath the oval so that way he had the gun that caused him so much pain to be his protection while he's out there doing what he does. But you see the metal, you see the shoulder pads. It's like shoulder, like shoulder pads, like what you would think of as, I don't know, sports kind of whatever, but it looks armored on the shoulders. I'm not a fan of the collar that's kind of popping up.
You know what? I kind of like it. I don't have anything against it right now because I feel like we're at a point.
It's only, I mean, it's first impressions, and all you really see is the chest, shoulder, and the face. You don't even get to see the ears, and it's all shrouded in darkness. I mean, there's no real motion. It's not a full reveal or anything. So, I mean, just picking little parts of what you do and what you don't.
I mean, it's exciting. Like, I'm not hating the bat symbol. I just hope there's a purpose behind it. And then if it ends up being the gun, cool. I think it adds weight to it. The armor looks kind of cool because, we had the big armor, like the Dark Knight Rises armor or Dark Knight Returns armor in BVS. And then we had the, added armor.
Well, that served a huge purpose, though.
So this just looks like a regular suit that's armored. So we'll see. Maybe it'll look kind of like the Justice League. You know how he had the extra armor added to it.
Right. What I can say is I kind of like. So, I would say that this kind of looks more comic book, more video game armored version, less supposed real world tactical armor plating that they used in the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rises.
I will say that this Batman, just from this one shot with the way that chest looks like the Batman of now. And I mean that because the games have become such an influence for an entire generation of Batman fans. And if you look at BVS, that was kind of the people who were like, oh, we like to hold on to the Frank Miller Batman.
Oh. Yeah.
And now we're like, no, we're going to take what's popular in Batman now and put it on screen. And
there is something to say about the video games, though, especially the Arkham series, because they pulled the Frank Miller. Well, they're amazing, but they straight pulled the brutality of Batman from the Frank Miller stories. Where he is all about breaking bones and beating guys to a pulp.
Oh yeah.
They pulled Batman is absolutely brutal in the Arkham games.
Yeah.
If there are people who like aren't in traction or who can't walk properly, you know, or can't use their arm properly ever again. Like that's what he does in those games. Like they would need reconstructive surgery to straighten bones and things like that. Like he's brutal and he messes people up horribly in those games.
And I mean, like, in a sense, like, they're criminals doing bad things. They deserve to be, you know, punished. And
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I'm not going to get into politics here.
Well, they can't do that again after what he's done to them.
Right.
You know, like you'll be lucky if you can hold a gun, if you could operate your hands or keep your arms steady enough or anything when it comes to being able to use a gun after that, you know?
So it's cool. I'm excited. I'm not hating on it. I mean, it's like, okay, just give me the full suit. The only thing that actually worries me about it is the way the mask looks.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now too. It kind of it's almost helmet-like. It sits over his face as opposed to kind of, I don't know, like a full mask almost, the way Batfleck's looked. The way his nose is kind of exposed underneath. And the one thing that I kind of don't like either is how far it goes back. It goes all the way back to his ears. His entire jawline is exposed out of the thing.
Yeah, more face. And it
yeah, a lot more face.
It almost looks like it's very leathery. Like the mask is leathery. I know I see people comparing it to Daredevil. But that's just my thing. Right now, it's just like, okay. And, also, one, it looks better than what we got on Gotham.
Yeah.
And two, they got to do something different. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have to move forward. Speaking of Gotham, so Brian, that voice of reasoning, and I were talking yesterday when we first saw this image, and we got bored and we started counting. And James, I know you know this, but if I hadn't told you this, if I were just to say to you, "Hey, James, how many bat suits do you think live action bat suits has there been?" What would you have thought before I actually told you how many bat suits have been on film?
I mean, if I thought about it and then and then asking like, well, what do you mean? You just mean movies, or do you mean movies and television, like live action or what? Live action, movies, television, what have you. I would have guessed, I probably would have guessed around 15, but I know the answer now.
That's a good guess. Jania guessed 10. Okay. And then we started talking about it. And here's my list. And if somebody out there wants to argue with me, please, you can argue with me. If somebody thinks I missed one, please message me. But this is what we got. Okay. The first one is the serials. The first serial of just Batman. The second one is the second one called Batman and Robin. It has a different actor as Batman, and the costume's slightly different. Then we have Adam West. Adam West appeared in both the TV series, the movie, and the Legends of the Superheroes. Then we get Batman 89. Batman Returns. Batman Forever, the first suit, also known as the Panther suit. I don't know where that name came from, but that's what I've heard. Then we have Batman Forever, the second suit, the sonar modification suit. We have Batman and Robin, the first suit. Batman and Robin, the second suit, the ice suit. We have Batman Begins. We have The Dark Knight, which is the same suit for The Dark Knight Rises. We debated on that one for a while, but there's no visible differences in the suits. It's the same suit. Then we have the BVS suit. Then we have the Nightmare Batman suit. Yes, it's a play off of the regular BVS suit, but there are some changes and differences, and that can be argued. We have the Justice League suit. The second Justice League suit at the end. Then we have Gotham. And then we have the one that I forgot, which they did release pictures for, so we know what the suit looked like. Titans. And then, of course, now we have The Batman, which brings us to a total of 18.
18 live action suits. That's a lot of bat suits.
It is a lot of bat suits. So with that in mind, you have to kind of do something different. I mean, the Titans bat suit didn't even have a freaking bat symbol on it. You know, it was just like this big tactical armor, Arkham Origins looking thing with a bat cowl. And then we know what the Gotham suit looked like. Dear Lord, that was not good. Not good at all.
Yeah. I don't know what they were thinking there. I mean, you know, you're not going to spend a ton of money on a suit you're going to see for 6.5 seconds. But
I mean, you could have made something where it was kind of like just a chest plate that went over the front, like it actually wasn't a full costume. It just covers the front.
They could have rented a cosplayer's costume for less than what they made that for.
Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or they could have just kept him more in the shadows and just been like a shot in the distance and then an up close of just his face and just used one that we argued was Birds of Prey. But in the Birds of Prey, that's the Val Kilmer Panther suit at the beginning of Birds of Prey.
Right.
But that's enough about Batman. We're here to talk about Superman.
And now I hear your child in the back.
Yeah, that's my girl. That's my Valentine's Day. Okay, baby. Okay. The pirate ship. Yeah. We're having a good time. Just me and her. She said,
"Oh, that's good."
She said I could record. It was cool. So,
all right, as long as you got her permission.
We have a quick reported list of characters that are being added to the Superman and Lois show. And I'll give you a quick rundown here. Number one, we're going to have Martha Kent, who is living alone on a farm in Smallville. We have General Sam Lane, and hopefully it's the same general that we got in Supergirl for continuities, actor-wise.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to know know about Clark. And for anyone who's already up in arms, remember this is post-crisis now. We have Lana Lang, who's going to be a banker still in Smallville with her husband. Kyle Cushing is the character that's going to be a firefighter who is the husband to Lana. So I guess that's a new character that's being added to the show. We have Sarah, who's Lana and Kyle's 14-year-old daughter who tried to take her own life recently. And I'm hoping, Brian said this, that Sarah tries to kill herself and it's Superman or Clark that stops her. Would be awesome. It's a lunchbox, baby. It's my Superman lunchbox. Yeah, you put your food in it and take it to school or work. She's so excited.
Yeah.
You want to take it to school? My daughter's the best. Okay, baby, you can take my lunchbox to school. And then we have Sophie, who's Lana and Kyle's 8-year-old daughter. And then we're going to see, and this is the big one. Okay, before I get to the number 9 or number 7 and 8 here of characters being added, I just want to point out there is one character I'd like to see return, and that's Lucy. I would like to see Lucy return to the Superman Supergirl universe.
Mm-hmm. Think Jenna Dewan Tatum or Jenna Dewan is going to be.
I said, there's no Tatum. I mean,
not anymore.
Just pop in. Come on, just pop in for an episode. Just do a special guest appearance, just for, fun, continuity for the fans. And you know what? She's actually not a bad actress. There was a show my wife watched, and I'll probably get the name wrong because it's one of those where it reminds me of another name. But it was like The Witches of East End, I believe it was. It was a Lifetime TV series that she watched. I think it's on Netflix now. And Jenna was on it. It was actually a pretty cool show. It had some really cool mythology about where the witches came from and everything. Because I'll watch anything with my wife. I don't care. Fight me, people. Who cares if I watch Lifetime? I have a wife. But no, I'd like to have her back. And then last, we get our big tease out, okay, that we got at the end of the last part of Crisis with Superman was... Gentlemen.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll. Man, I just realized I reference National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation a lot anymore. So
There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, there's not. It's very interesting. I do it as much as I do. They cast 2 boys to play their sons, and obviously they're not twins if you look at the actors. To play Jordan and Jonathan. I guess they're supposed to be more like fraternal twins, but they're not identical twins. And they say that Jonathan is a clean-cut, modest, and kind-hearted, with an aw-shucks attitude that somehow doesn't seem dated. Jordan is widely intelligent, but his temperament and social anxiety limit his interaction with people, and consequently, Jordan prefers to spend most of his free time alone playing video games. So yeah, we got 2, and that's cool. That's different, you know. There were some stories that were kind of poked around there that's been dropped if you've seen anything online from the Golden Age about Clark's, Superman's kids, but in modern continuity, I mean, child-wise, he's only had Jonathan, and then he had his adoptive son of Chris Kent, who was actually Zod's child. And so, yeah, I mean, this is kind of interesting, you know? What do you think? I will say that I'm not a fan of the name Jordan, period, okay? But I do like that it's not like Sam Kent, you know? Because we have a whole problem with superheroes naming their children after their parents.
Well, Jonathan is actually supposed to be Jonathan Samuel Kent. So
I know he is. James,
he's named after both of his grandparents.
And I know this. Well, I mean, his original name when he was in comics was Jonathan Samuel White, because they used the last name White as their hidden name. After Perry White. So you had kind of their biological, or they have their fathers and then like their pseudo father's name.
Oh, is that in the Road to Rebirth, Lois and Clark?
It's in
story.
The Lois and Clark storyline, and and then I don't think it appears in Convergence, but I have it. What are you doing with all my stuff, baby girl? Why do you put it in here? Okay. Sayla just put a whole bunch of my Superman artifacts into my Superman lunchbox.
Well, they belong, right? So, I mean, cast, I'd like to see continuity come along with it. I'm probably not expecting Jenna Dewan to come back.
That's why I'm just
be nice to see
like a 1-episode special. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And not even as a recurring. I mean, even if she doesn't show up as guest, if they recast her, Crisis, right?
Yeah.
She could be somebody different because of Crisis.
Yep, that's kind of like they're now. They're like, all right, guys, if we have to change anything, we just chalk it up to Crisis.
Yep.
We approve.
Like you just accept it because it's post-Crisis.
We've already proved
if it's something new
that people look different on different Earths. With Clark,
yep.
We had 3 Clark Kents. We can do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And 2
like
different
Lucy
Lois
Lane
Lanes.
that returned to the Lucy Lane that returned to Earth Prime is not the same Lucy Lane that was from Earth 38. It's the Lucy Lane from whatever Earth that's now, the Lucy Lane that Lois grew up with.
You know what's crazy?
And they all have those memories.
You know what's
that's the way it works.
You know what's going to blow your mind if you stop and think for a minute? With the multiverse, the way they did it, that means that the Lucy Lane of Smallville looks just like Golden Glider. looks just like Snark.
Yeah. Yep.
If you start thinking about all the people, like, okay, so Lois Lane on this Earth looks just like Lois Lane's mom on Smallville's Earth. You know, like, when you start thinking about... And for some reason, Jeremiah Danvers looks a lot like this crazy wannabe Vandal Savage. And then...
Oh, right. Yeah, looks like...
and then Dax Ur looks a lot like Jimmy Olsen.
Curtis Knox.
Yeah. He was supposed to be Vandal Savage, is what they alluded to. But,
Yeah. Well, even... What was it? Was it in Legends or the Vandal crossover or something? One of his aliases was Curtis Knox as a throwback to...
I don't know if it was... I wonder if it was in the double... I don't remember if it was in Legends or if it was in the double Flash Arrow crossover. Legends of Today and Legends of Yesterday. But it just blows your mind when you start thinking about it. And since they connected the movie universe, how the Lex Luthor clone from Smallville Season 10 looks a lot like Jack Ur on Zod's ship. And how Emil Hamilton from Smallville looks a lot like this random Canadian soldier with his feet cropped up who should have been watching the Fortress ship. And also, why does Cyborg's dad look a lot like the Doctor who tried to purge the caves? I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you know, I'm kind of excited because I feel like it's that one thing where it gives it originality. It gives it something different. It kind of lets you play with. I like when there's more than one sibling. You know, like you're a father of two. I'm a father of two. Excuse me. One thing that Jenny and I wanted was we wanted to have a sibling for Solomon. There's a different dynamic in that with two and with the parents because then you can kind of partner off, you know, like, oh, you know, like tonight, daddy-daughter time, and then Jania, mother-son stuff, or father-son, you know, like you get to pair off and do stuff. So I think it just works better in a story than having the child be an only child.
Right.
But, I mean, it definitely shows, like, there's traction to this show. It's going straight to series. I read somewhere that I think within the next year that... Did we talk about? I can't remember. That a lot of the Netflix CW stuff's going to be leaving Netflix. So we could probably expect that to show up on DC Universe.
Well, the contract is up. When is it? I wish I knew the exact time. I think it's sometime within the next year.
Yeah.
That the Netflix CW contract is up because Batwoman is going to HBO Max. Streaming for Batwoman is on HBO Max. So either stuff will go to HBO Max or will go to DC Universe. I mean, like we said, we'd like to have a DC tab on HBO Max like they do the Marvel tab on Disney Plus.
Brian, he's come aboard and he agreed with me when I said that. I was like, yeah. I mean, I would pay the $15 a month just for all the content. And because, I mean, it's only $7.
Yeah, if it was 15, yeah, I was going to say, if it's $15 a month and you get everything that comes on HBO Max, plus you get everything that you were paying $7.99 a month for, on DC Universe, you know, so for $8 more a month, you're getting, you know, DC Universe and everything on HBO Max, which they have a lot of freaking content coming to HBO Max. A lot of content. Plus they announced their Warner Max film division for films to be released on HBO Max, and I'm not sure if it was confirmed or if it was rumored, but they are going to they will handle some DC HBO Max movies.
See, I think that's where you could like read things like Jonah Hex. You could do something like that. You could do something with Booster Gold.
Yeah, you could definitely. Yeah, right. Like your.
Or even just Blue Beetle, like give Blue Beetle his own show.
Yeah, lower tier characters. You know, your C and D level characters that wouldn't draw a crowd unless like marketing was spectacular.
I got a pitch for the first HBO DC movie.
You know, it would be easier to do those with a moderate budget and put it on something that people are already paying for, and they would people would be able to see it. You know, you wouldn't be worrying about having to create a box office. Which, real quick, speaking of box office, I was looking up Birds of Prey and the box office mojo.
Yeah.
And apparently, worldwide, going into its second weekend, Birds of Prey is at $154,317,690 as its worldwide gross. That's not bad for that's 1 week. That's 1 week out. Friday to Friday, Thursday to Friday. 154 million for an 80-something $million movie. So like, it's not, just how people are.
So let's see. What has to I think it needs. Let's see. It needs another 10 million to double, and then like another 70 million to actually feel like it's in the clear to make.
Yeah. So somebody said if it made $250 million worldwide, that it would be that it would probably break even or start to show a profit. And they're highballing that.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't know. Marketing costs is weird because I'm like, what? Because they do all this stuff to market movies, like into advertised movies. But I'm like, I don't see this. You don't see this. Most of the advertising we see is on Twitter or on Facebook or on social media, which is free.
Right.
But I don't know. It's weird. Is there any other news that we missed? I don't think we did. Oh, I was going to tell you. I think what they should pitch for HBO Max, they should do a television-esque movie of what the third season of Krypton would be. Give us a
yeah. That's what definitely like an HBO Max show or yeah. I agree with that 100%.
So, all right, I think we've covered the news. I just wanted to talk about we were seeing so much traction on Lois and Clark and everything.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that they've got it coming to that they ordered it. They must really be liking something that's coming down the line. I mean it's CW. We're getting a Superman show. That's awesome. We'll have episodes with a Supergirl episode and a Superman and Lois episode to discuss.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this, that, this summer is going to be weird for us because it'll be the first time that we don't have a second show to cover in 2 years. First we ran 2 shows congruently for a while, and then last year we had Krypton for the summer. This year, we don't have a second show, so we'll get to do different kind of episodes. But
yeah, which we have Superman Red Sun coming up very soon.
Yes, we do, and that's a special. And we'll hold off, but we'll let people know that with quotes in there, you should go and check out The Last Sons of Krypton right now. They have a thread on their Twitter and on their Facebook discussing the Red Sun book. Of course, James.
Yes, they do.
James and I have been James and I have been invited to join them on their podcast for what's going to be a 2-part episode. We're going to review the book over on their show, and then they're going to join us, and we're going to review the movie next month. So,
Sweet.
everybody just kind of stay up to date, but go over there to their social media and put in your thoughts about Red Sun.
All right.
We all wrapped up? I'm tired.
I think so.
All right, man. You take care.
Yeah, it's been a long day. It's been a long week. My daughter hurt herself yesterday. She's got a splint on her arm. She'll probably be fitted for a cast on Monday.
Is she okay?
Yeah, she's all right.
She's tough, like her dad.
So, little pain meds, and it's a small break. It's nothing, not like a full through break and bones separated or anything like that. So, she's gonna make it.
Good. We're all worried. So, all right, everybody, stay tuned and remember.
Look at the sky. Look up in the sky.
Look up in the sky.